Now, do you have permanent residency, or is that something you'd like to discuss?
Yes, actually, I have to go in the fall. In the fall, I will be able to claim my permanent residency. So basically, yes, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about that because when that happens, if I want to, I can stay in Mexico permanently, and I won't have to worry about tourist visa or renewing any other visas because in Mexico it's permanent. There are some other countries that say, "Oh, we're going to give you permanent residency," but they have these caveats and other rules. But literally in Mexico, permanent residency is permanent. So I am very excited about that, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, to get permanent residency, this is another kind of funny story because typically you have to start the process at a Mexican consulate in the USA, but it
Oh,
depends on which Mexican consulate you go to. Because, for example, even though I met the financial requirements for permanent residency, they still denied me on the first time because they said that I was too young. You know,
hmm.
that was their rule. However, if you go to certain places, like for example in South Texas, and you apply for permanent residency, if I would have went to South Texas instead with my income statements, they would have gave it to me immediately. So it depends on a consulate because again they have their own rules. But if you have to go to temporary residency first, you typically have to be in Mexico for 4 years, and then after 4 years you can apply for it.
Awesome. And so these are the types of things that Callan is sharing and will be sharing and will continue to share this insider knowledge about Mexico, things that you and I just may not know or will have to try to stumble and figure out. And we are blessed to be able to be recipients of all of Callan's experience. So now he can tell you go to South Texas and apply
Yes,
because
I recommend that. If you want to get it almost immediately, I think it's McAllen or it's Laredo. That's the city. So Laredo, if you go there, you have of course, management changes, administration changes, but if you go to Laredo, you have a very good chance of getting permanent residency, regardless of your age, as long as you meet the income requirements.
the income requirements.
Mhm.
Well, Callan, everyone is enjoying you. African Dreaming just subbed, of
Welcome,
course.
African Dreaming. Hope to see you soon.
And
Thank you.
so, yes, this is awesome. So I'm so glad that you are you are here with us and sharing such great information. Of course, we talked about cartel and cartel business. We got none. And so got 99 problems, but cartel ain't one. And so Memphis, as Milton is saying, has a huge problem with gangs,
Yeah.
like many cities, urban cities
Philadelphia too.
in the
Philadelphia
US.
too. And this is the reason why, unfortunately, my parents still live there and in that same neighborhood, my parents are they're kind of rigid, they're kind of stubborn, but yeah, like Milton said, there's lots of them in Philadelphia. And unfortunately, people in the US are paying taxes, but unfortunately, the people in the ghetto that pay taxes can't even have the police to come help them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, so when people think that, oh well, I don't want to go to Mexico because I heard this on the news about the cartel. Well, I heard this on the news about the cartel. Well, if you come from the ghetto, if you're born and raised in the ghetto like I was, well, it's all relative. So
Right.
and also being in Mexico, as I said before, I have never had no experience or confrontation with any cartel. It's been very safe and quite peaceful.
Quite peaceful. Well, TD has a question for you. Calvin, besides Puebla and San Miguel de Allende, I'm getting my practice in that right. Look. Which other cities have you visited? Which he covered a few, but we'll recap for those of you who will be watching the replay. Where did you find the best food places to see?
Oh
What city?
yeah. So we'll start with the first question first. So visited. Okay. So visited. I visited a lot of cities when I first came to Mexico alone, and then I visited others with my girlfriend. And I would say that the first time I came, I visited cities. It was like Guanajuato. So Guanajuato is a state, but it's also a city. That's kind of the capital of the state. That was a very nice city. Uh, very beautiful, very beautiful. It's very
Mhm.
hilly, very hilly. So, I have to say you have to kind of be in moderately good shape, for a city like that. But it's a very nice city. I had a great time there. But even for me, I'm skinny. Even for me, I'm skinny and young, but I even had a hard time going up those hills in Guanajuato. So there was that. I also visited Acapulco. That was a city on the Pacific coast. That was very nice. I really enjoyed the beach at nighttime. Very, very
Oh,
beautiful place to be. Uh, it is a little more dangerous. I'll put that out there. It is a little more dangerous. So you have to be cautious. But I had a good time. I was safe. I didn't have any issues there. What else? Where else did I go?
just because we
It's
asked.
been so many. It's been so many. And then with my girlfriend, we saw many places. We saw Valladolid, which is like one of these Pueblo Mágicos. So it's Pueblo Mágicos is like a network of colonial towns in
Mm.
Mexico that is rich in history and that's rich in culture. And we had a great time there. It's a very beautiful place. It doesn't get a lot of tourism, so I think it's a place I would recommend a lot of people to check out to kind of experience kind of nice, peaceful without feeling kind of overwhelmed with other tourists. That's in the state of Yucatan on the coast.
Wow.
So there's that. Also,
I need
we
an ebook. I need an ebook. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Callan, this needs to be in a whole ebook.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting because I can make a recommendation now, and maybe 2 years later, what I recommended may not be a good recommendation anymore. A lot of people are coming to Mexico, for many reasons. For example, Australia is still one of the countries that still has a lot of lockdowns. And a lot of Australians, when there was a moment in where the government like kind of uh, had a temporary a lift of the restrictions. A lot of Australians, from what I've read, they have left there. A lot of people from the UK have left the UK for Mexico. So, a lot of people are at least maybe they're not staying in Mexico permanently, but they're at least coming to Mexico because they're curious and they want to see if it's a place that they can live permanently. So, also another question: where did you find the best food and places? Typically, the best places is usually around the downtown area. I think that's the case for any city. And Mexico has a lot of colonial downtowns that are very beautiful to see. Free museums, cheap museums,
hmm.
like literally, like in the US, you might pay $25 to get into a museum. In Mexico, you'll pay three, maximum $5. So as I said before, sometimes things are so cheap here, it's like it's almost free. So
Oh,
yeah, so I also recommend uh, you know the downtown area specifically. But there's also some museums in other parts of the city that might be worth checking out. And the foods, there's a lot. That could be a whole video in itself. But
okay.
there,
You heard him say that's a whole video in itself. So you're gonna have to go to his channel because you're gonna have a food video.
yes, yes, yeah. And I actually, well, I have a food product video about Mexico because I used to get a lot of questions. People say, well, you know, I like I think Mexico's interesting, but they probably don't have soy milk, or they probably don't have coconut milk, or they probably don't have gluten-free this, and surprisingly, Mexico has all of that, so
Oh,
I actually did a video about that,
wow.
and I guess I can send you the link maybe, and you can include that in the description, and where you can see that uh, people's specialty food items, whether it's gluten-free bread or whatever it is, can be found in Mexico as well. I love coconut milk. I love almond milk. I buy those things in Mexico I buy it every week here. No problem. So yes, a lot of those things here too. I recently I bought something that's called volcanic salt. This is black
Mm,
salt, very
yeah.
good. It's great for meats. There's a lot of great products in Mexico, and many that you are used to in the U.S. you can also find here.